22nd, 2018 meeting of the Wheaton Park District Board of Commissioners. Mike, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Morrill.
Here.
Commissioner Mee. Here. Commissioner Kelly.
Here.
Commissioner Hodgkinson.
Here.
Commissioner Fahey.
Here.
President Vires.
Here. Presentations, I see the rowdy recreation.
We have a whole slew of Recreation Department team members here today to talk about fall program opportunities.
Good evening, everyone. So first off, we have some big things happening in early childhood and preschool programs. Wide Horizons Preschool starts August 27th. There's still a few spots available, so we want to make sure everyone gets their little ones registered. Tui Park early childhood programs begin the week of September 3rd. There's a lot of great programs over there, classes and birthday parties available at Tui Park, and including Safety City. So please contact Preschool and Camp Supervisor Jamie Martinson for more information on the early childhood programming. There's a lot of stuff happening in the fall for tweens and teens. We've renamed our teen service series to Wheaton Teens Care. This is a great opportunity for teens to give back by volunteering their time. It's for ages 11 through 15. September 9th, they're going to be at West Suburban Humane Society. October 19th, they will be volunteering at our own Halloween Happening event. And November 14th, they'll be at Feed My Starving Children. We also have two babysitter series classes available for the 11 to 18 age ranges. Babysitting for Success, where they learn skills to safely care for children, and basic first aid and emergency management. That is Saturday, October 20th from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And then there's the CPR training for teens on Wednesday, September 19th from 4 to 6. We also have a bunch of new Sweet Pea Dell workshops for ages 4 to 14, back to school, Halloween costume party, turkey apron, and holiday PJ party. Those can all be found on page 54 of the fall program guide. We've got the Friends of the Lincoln Marsh open house on September 6th from 5 to 7 p.m. at Lincoln Marsh. And we've got, for our active adults, we've got group ukulele classes for beginners that will begin on September 15th in partnership with Suburban Music. Beginner Spanish for adults, that will begin on September 13th. Morning Stretch and Restore Yoga, that will begin on September 11th, and that is our adult education supervisor, Matthew Roble. And last but certainly not least, we have an action-packed recreation special events this fall. Fall Children's Playhouse production is Shrek Jr. Our auditions will be held September 4th through the 7th, and performances will be the weekend of November 9th. Halloween Happening is October 19th from 5 to 7:30 p.m. Mother-Son Bingo is November 2nd from 6:30 to 8 p.m. and Pizza with Santa is December 14th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope to see everyone at our upcoming programs and events.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work.
Questions or comments? Nope. Okay, Don, anybody sign up for community input? Nope. All right, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody have a motion ready?
Oh, I'll give it a whirl. Move to approve the consent agenda, items A through F as presented. Starting with item A, approval of disbursements totaling $2,187,736.59 for the period beginning July 11, 2018 and ending August 7, 2018. B, approval of the previous board meeting minutes. Sub A, July 18, 2018 regular meeting. C, expenses over $10,000 and under the bid limit. Essentially approval of purchase from Morelli Sportswear for travel basketball uniforms at a cost of $11,640. D, expenses over $10,000 and under bid limit. Approval of purchase from Harris Golf Cars of 2 Yamaha UMAX 2 utility vehicles at a cost of $21,450, and that would be $10,725 per vehicle. E, expenses over $10,000 again and under the bid limit. Approval of the purchase from Perfect Turf for unitary service material and installation for the Northside Park Outdoor Exercise Equipment Project at a cost of $15,580. And finally, F, expenses over $10,000 and under the bid limit. Approval of purchase of a Roland VG-540 print and cut machine at a cost of $17,495.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion by me, a second by Morrill. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Mike, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Morrill?
Yes.
Commissioner Mee?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodgkinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fahey?
Yes.
President Vires.
Yes. Unfinished business, we have one item, the park naming proposal. Does somebody have a motion ready?
I have a motion.
Jane?
I have a motion. I've been waiting for several years to do this. I'm proposing that we approve the renaming of the park that is at the northeast corner of Roosevelt and Main Street in Wheaton to Rotary Park in honor of the support that the Rotary Club has given the Wheaton Park District over the past 70-some-odd
50 years,
years. Yeah.
I'll second that.
Yeah, all right, so we have a motion by Hodgkinson, second by Fahey.
Now, do we have 3 Rotary members here? Is that what we have?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, and I think this is going to pass, unanimously, so thanks for all your support over the years.
Further discussion? Mike, would you?
Well, we have a brief press release we're going to release tomorrow. Perhaps I could read that into the record.
Yeah, let's vote on the
Okay.
motion, and then you can read the press release.
Okay, then, would you call a roll, Mike?
Certainly. Commissioner Mee?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodgkinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fahey?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrill?
Yes.
President Vires?
Yes. All right, Mike, if you want to read that into the record.
I'd be happy to. The Wheaton Park District Board of Commissioners voted at its regular meeting, August 22nd, 2018, to name the district's park located at Main and Roosevelt Road, adjacent to the Central Athletic Complex, in honor of the Wheaton Rotary Clubs. The Wheaton Rotary has serviced both local and international projects from DuPage County to Honduras, the Dominican Republic, and more. Wheaton Rotary has also sponsored college and vocational scholarships for many years. Currently, Rotary has also sponsored, currently the club is sponsoring a local student towards a global grant scholarship of $30,000 for postgraduate work abroad funded by the Rotary Foundation. There are two Wheaton Rotary clubs, as many of you know, and the Wheaton Rotary clubs have been involved in the community for over 50 years, with contributions to the Wheaton Park District exceeding several $100,000 and thousands of volunteer hours. Their significant contributions include over $75,000 to the Sensory Garden Playground Initiative, donations to the Western DuPage Special Recreation Association, and funding and building numerous gazebos and shelters on Park District land. They also contributed to Illinois' first accessible playground at Northside Park, the Clock Tower Mini Golf and Skate Park, metal blockades on the Prairie Path, and multiple projects within Cosley Zoo. Our AM Club is our partner for the Fun Run in Color annual 5K event. In addition to their monetary donations, the members of the Rotary have also served on foundation boards for the DuPage County Historical Museum, the Cosley Zoo Foundation, and the Wheaton Park District Board itself. We're honored to name this park to recognize these great organizations. The valued partnership and support from the two clubs in Wheaton has made a difference for so many in our community and beyond, and we look forward to continuing our work with them. A naming ceremony will be scheduled for sometime in September, and we are honored to be renaming Rotary Park. Thank you.
Yeah, will you cut them up, come on up to the podium, give your name, and make a few comments?
Steve Johnson, president of Wheaton Rotary, and we're honored to have this. Thank you very much. We look forward to working with you and maintaining and expanding this park and to continuing our partnership. And it'd be nice to interrupt the meeting and pull the board out here and take a picture if we may.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Sure, why not?
If not, Kevin will photobomb it anyway.
Margie, would you help out?
Christina's going to.
Yep, I'm letting you all go through.
All right, let's continue on with the agenda. Under new business, item 1, resolution 2018-04. Does somebody have a motion ready?
I move to approve the Resolution 2018-04, authorizing the conditional termination of membership in the PDRMA Health Insurance Program at the end of our membership term of the Wheaton Park District being 12/31/18.
Second.
Okay, so motion by Fahey, second by Morrill. Mike, do you want to explain what we're doing here?
The Park District is finishing at the end of 2018 a 3-year contract with Paderma Health. And as part of a normal process for seeking competitive pricing for health insurance premiums for our cohort, we must provide notice to Paderma that how the contract is written, it says we wish to terminate our relationship with them. However, we have negotiated a conditional termination to meet the requirements of the contract for us to go out and seek competitive pricing. We can rescind our request to terminate up to the end of October. The Park District Board of Commissioners will be receiving competitive prices from Paderma, as well as it's 2 or 3 possible brokers to see where they come in at the September workshop meeting, and then at the October workshop meeting, and then at the October board meeting, a recommendation will come from staff on that the board can act on the 3rd week of October. And in the past, when we've gone through this exercise, we have stayed with Paderma for various reasons. If the board chooses to do so again, we rescind the termination notice and move forward in 2019 as a Paderma customer. If the board wishes to go a different direction, we have that ability to do that as well. So we have all the flexibility in the world, and we do appreciate Paderma's flexibility, and that frankly they're always interested in us seeing how the market bears against the cooperative model versus a broker model.
Any discussion?
And I'm going to explain why I'm going to vote no for this. We have done this before, and we know what the results were, that Paderma by far found much better insurance that we were able to find on our own. And that when we go out and look, we have 100 lives that we're representing on our insurance. And Paderma is an agency that has 200+ members that are in the risk pool, and let's say 150 or 170 of those are in the insurance pool. And so when they are hunting for insurance, they're going out with thousands and thousands of lives. So I think they can get a much better contract than we can, and I'd rather staff would devote their time to something else.
John, go ahead first.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I was kind of in the lead helping get the quotes the last time, and we were analyzing them. We did it twice. I thought it was a lot of staff's time, and I'm not going to be in favor of doing it again. I'm in favor of staying with Paderma. I think we found out where we're at. I think when we get these quotes there, we found the last couple of times they're not guaranteed until you turn in all the health histories. It's a lot of employees filling out applications if we're going to make a change. And, I just think we tried it twice. I think there's a lot of staff time, and I'm pretty happy with what we've got going with Paderma and the way we've structured our plan with the various options for, the employees. So I'm probably against doing this another time.
And I'm going to be interested in, whether or not, it holds true, again, that Paderma comes in with a better rate. So I think it would not be acceptable for us as a park board not to do our due diligence, to take a look at this again. And I think this is what, we employ Mike to do, is to look at, all of our options. And if those options, allow us to provide the same level of health insurance, to our staff, at a lesser cost, I think, it's only appropriate that we take a look at that. So I'm very much in favor of Mike, and the staff, doing this again to make sure that, Paderma is going to be either our chosen health insurance carrier, or we have somebody who is going to provide the same level, at a lesser cost.
Any further discussion? Mike?
So I'd like to ask, what do we have to lose?
Well,
If
we're hiring additional people to do other jobs for us because Mike doesn't have the time to do some of those jobs. We just hired someone at the last meeting to assist with a function for the Park District. And that function is something that Mike could spend time doing if he wasn't investigating insurance.
Wait a minute. Mike, when did we hire someone specifically to devote time? Hang on, Jane. I'm asking Mike, please.
Okay.
Mike, when did we hire someone specifically to devote time to this particular issue?
I'm not certain that's what Jane means, that we
Well, that's
hired
what she
somebody
said.
specific to research insurance.
Okay, well, that's the comment that was made. So we didn't hire anybody specifically for this purpose, is that right?
No.
Okay, good, thanks. Now you could answer Kevin's question.
Yes, sir. At this juncture, and I'll start by saying, staff doesn't have a horse in the race other than vetting a $1.5 million annual expense for the Park District. I have been a Paderma customer I've been here coming up on 12 years, and I've worked at many other Park Districts prior to my time here. I've been a Paderma customer since I could walk, essentially. And we don't have a horse in the race as far as Paderma or a private broker. I'm advocating for doing our due diligence and shopping on a large annual cost. And I don't disagree that perhaps the results will yield a similar result. The answer to your question in short form is nothing. We have nothing to lose other than time and researching, my time and Diane's time and researching and providing the information for you to make your decision in October.
How much time is it?
It's probably under, all said and done, it'll be under 40 or 50 hours of time. It is, health insurance is a complex animal. But between Diane and I and spending a lot of time interviewing the brokers before presenting, 3 or 4 sets of financials, as well as ensuring that they all are apples and apples, so they're easy to understand. And the bottom line in any of this service is, are we, we maintaining our level of service to our employees? We have a robust health insurance program to recognize the compensation nature of health insurance in this day and age. And we want to make sure that above and beyond everything else that, as well as getting the best price we can, that we're not interrupting services for our cohort in the form of their network, and providing the most beneficial wellness type program incentives that we can to make sure our staff is staying healthy. But the short answer to your question is, we have the ability to withdraw our withdrawal by the end of October.
Right.
We've talked about this for probably the last 3 years at least, and I don't see any problem in our looking at what the opportunities are out there. I think it also puts some responsibility on Paderma's shoulders to do their due diligence to give us the best possible price, because we're a large agency in their organization, and if we leave, it does hurt them. If we stay, it helps them. And so I think that it may force them to do a better job of getting a better price for all the agencies who are a part of Paderma, and not just us. So I don't mind our taking a look at this, and as Mike said, the end result might be that we'll stay with Paderma, and that's okay. But I don't mind putting them on the notice that they need to sharpen their pencil too. So I'll support this.
Any other discussion? I'll just comment, Mike, the last time that we went through this process would have been then 3 years ago.
Correct. That's correct.
I mean, I have a hard time figuring out what you would be doing that'd be more worthwhile than every 3 years looking at $1.5 million expense and making sure that's competitive. So I think that's a good use of your time rather than a waste of time to go through this process. Any further discussion? Then Mike, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Kelly?
No.
Commissioner Hodgkinson?
No.
Commissioner Fahey?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrill?
Yes.
Commissioner Mee?
Yes.
President Vires?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. On to item number 2, the bid results and recommendations for the Arrowhead Golf Club entrance sign. Does somebody have a motion?
I would move to approve the Arrowhead Golf Club entrance sign project recommendation and accept the bid from Doyle Signs, Inc. for an amount not to exceed $86,900.
Second.
So a motion by me, a second by Fahey. Any discussion? Mike, would you take a oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask, are we going to break ground? This passes, we break ground when, and how long would this take? Do you know that, Rob?
I don't have the specific schedule, unfortunately, but, I mean, it's a definite priority.
It would be
It
constructed
would be
this fall.
This
Yes,
fall,
sir.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
okay.
And Mike, would you take a moment to maybe to discuss the dimensions of the project and what it's going to be? Are we lighting up South Butterfield like the Las Vegas Strip?
No, sir. The sign will be located exactly where the current sign is located that is not illuminated. The actual dimensions of the screen, as it were, is 5.5 feet by, I want to say 11 feet, with the bottom end of that sign being at about 7 feet in the air. It'll be on both sides. We'll be able to manage the content of the sign in a very dynamic fashion from inside the golf course. And then the modern technology for these sorts of lights has an attenuating system that backs off and advances the light depending on the ambient light around it. So that does assist in making sure that we're not creating
Strip.
an eye burden for those within eyeshot of it. What is fortunate in this regard for the residential neighborhoods across the street is that there is a very tall IDOT provided sound wall that goes up a significant distance that already obstructs those residents' view of Butterfield Road for the most part. We went through an exhaustive process in permitting and zoning with DuPage County, and they saw fit to grant us the permit to be able to proceed when we'd like to do so.
Thank you. Any other further discussion? John?
Yeah, I just had a couple of questions for Rob. Rob, we have $135,000 in the budget. The 86.9 is for the sign. Is all the infrastructure there, or do we have to trench across the parking lot? Are we going to have additional expenses?
We need to bring power to the sign, but our guys have already looked at it and identified that we have adequate conduit to get us there. So it's a relatively simple job for them.
So we don't have to trench through the parking lot?
That's correct.
So the total cost when we add our other stuff to this project, whatever, like we're going to have some electrical work, and we're still going to be under the $135,000?
We're not going to be anywhere near that.
Okay.
Any other further discussion? Okay, Mike, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Hodgkinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fahey.
Yes.
Commissioner Morrill.
Yes.
Commissioner Me.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
President Vires.
Yes. Item 3, bid results for the Eaton Park backstops. Somebody have a motion ready?
Okay. I would move to approve the bid from Classic Fence for an amount not to exceed $183,606 for the Eaton Park backstops and some related fencing.
Second.
Motion by me, second by Morrill. Any discussion? Mike, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Fahey.
Yes.
Commissioner Morrill.
Yes.
Commissioner Me.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Abstain.
Commissioner Hodgkinson.
Yes.
President Vires.
Yes. Item 4, the bid results for our Central Athletic Complex storage building. Somebody have a motion ready?
Yeah, I'll move that we approve the bid from Can Do Construction Company for the construction of the ice storage building in the amount of $238,000.
Second.
Motion by Kelly, second by Fahey. Any discussion?
Just a question again, probably to Rob. Rob, when would this get done? Would it be this year in advance of the ice being open?
That's exactly what the schedule is built around, is having this for ice.
Thanks.
Ray?
That was my question.
Got it, okay. All right,
John has a question.
John?
Okay, so we're spending 238,000, we only budgeted 195. So you're getting the rest out of the 165,000 we have budgeted for the shade and the permanent lighting and that. Are you gonna be reducing that budget now by the 40,000 we're taking, or?
Well, no,
Are
I
we
don't,
gonna
I don't think
budget
we're.
more next year? I mean, what's the financing plan since we're over budget?
Well, I think the issue that may not have been very clear in here was that the $195,000 budget was based on the cost of the building. And the building estimate was pretty close to that. So the
200,000, I think,
so the
was the
additional that we have is for some civil work that's going on the outside. So we want to pave the area from the ice all the way out to the street. So that's the main access point. That's also where Zamboni is going to be driving. And then we want to widen the area of the pavers where the ice goes to better accommodate the rink. Right now, we have that sort of weird little gravel part that comes out, so we want to fill that in, and that's what the engineering that we did, you know, and the permitting allowed us to do. So while we're over budget, we have some things that were not factored into the initial budget on this.
So I guess my question is, will we be able to do everything there then for the 360,000 if we spend 238 on the building?
Probably not, and we would have to amend our, if future plans were brought to the board, you know, we would defer portions of a shading plan or not bring it to you at all. It's a very expensive plan, but, you know, we want to, you know, two things we want to do is we want to close out the Central Athletic Complex project. It's been a long project. It's been a very worthwhile project, but we need to move on to other parks. And I don't feel very strongly that we're bringing you a significant amount of expenses in 2018 to consider for shade structures at that location.
That was the question. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Rob.
Any further comments? Mike, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Morrill?
Yes.
Commissioner Mee? Yes. Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodgkinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fahey?
Yes.
President Vires?
Yes.
I had another question. Are we gonna approve, you know, we usually approve a contingency amount for emergency stuff that comes up that the Buildings and Grounds Committee can approve, so we don't have to wait for a board meeting? I mean, I'm a little concerned that the low bidder is 20%, almost 20% low. So I'm suspecting he's gonna be looking to make some of that up.
Do you have a recommendation, John?
You know,
Wanna ask for
I think
10%?
we should do 10% at least, and anything more than that has to go to the board before we even tell them to go ahead. But Buildings and Grounds and staff should be allowed to authorize small changes, you know,
So
of the
perhaps,
total amount of 10%.
perhaps the cleanest way to do it would be a subsequent motion as opposed to an amendment for an additional $23,800 in contingency costs to be approved by the Buildings and Grounds Subcommittee and subsequent formal ratification by the Park Board as a whole.
Do you want to make,
Yeah, so I'll make a motion that we add $24,000 contingency to the budget for Buildings and Grounds to review incidental change orders that come up prior to board ratification at a board meeting.
I'll second.
so that's a motion by Kelly, second by Hodgkinson. Any discussion on that?
Thanks for bringing that up,
Just voice.
John.
Yeah, thank you, John.
We'll do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Let's move on to, is this still item 5 now? I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Bid results and recommendations for the Arrowhead Golf Club linen service. Does somebody have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the bid from Aramark Uniform Services on a new 3-year agreement starting on August 24th, 2018, and ending August 23rd, 2021.
Second.
Motion by Hodgkinson, second by Fahey. Any discussion? Mike, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Mee?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Hodgkinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fahey?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrill?
Yes.
President Vires?
Yes. Item 6, recommendation for the Community Center chiller engineering. Somebody have a motion ready?
Yeah, I'll move that we approve a contract with Berg Engineering in an amount not to exceed $24,000 plus $1,000 reimbursables for designing the new chiller project for the community center.
Yeah, second.
Motion by Kelly, second by Fahey. Any discussion?
Eh, I think it should be noted that Berg Engineering is the firm that did the original building. They also did our boiler replacement project a couple of years ago. At that time, we went out for a competitive bid, and they were considerably lower than the other bidders. And I think that's because they know the building and have all the original design documents in-house. And I think the price we got for this work is very fair.
Any other comments? Can we do this on a voice vote, or should we do a roll?
A voice vote is fine.
We'll do voice. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that's it for the new business portion of the meeting. Let's move on to reports from staff. Mike, do you have anything?
Yeah, just a couple of, just a brief comments. I'd certainly like to extend my gratitude and commendations to all staff involved in what was a very, very busy and successful summer that we're winding down right now across all departments. I know you know, but I don't know if all of our friends at home know, we add in the vicinity of 500 staff members every busy season between May and September to make sure that we get the jobs done across all of our areas, across our 54 parks and 7 departments in which we work hard to improve the quality of life for our constituents. So thank you, staff, and thank you, board, for your support. We feel that this last summer was an amazing success, and we served many, many, many people. And we look forward to a wonderful fall and winter season as well. Other than that, I'll say that just from a standpoint of an update, the Memorial Park Master Plan renovation project continues, with the Park Board having engaged Williams Architect for concept validation and construction document development. Planning staff spent, along with members of Williams Architects, a better part of today in focus group meetings with many user groups who would be impacted by the renovation of the Memorial Park, which is our very first park and was actually purchased by the Park District 1 year after it was incorporated almost 100 years ago. We will be engaging the neighbors for a second round of focus groups in the month of September, and we will be reporting back to the board final focus group data, concept validity, and towards a ultimate construction schedule that begins in mid-June of 2019. Thank you.
I think Ray signed the check to buy that park, too, didn't he? I heard.
Yeah, back for $1.
All right, let's move on to, we'll do the recreation report, annual report, comments on that, or any general commissioners' comments. We'll go through all of them, so, Ray?
I just want to say what a quality report it was, and thank you very much. A lot of great information, and I do appreciate the effort that goes into these reports, so thank you.
Terry?
Yeah, John, thanks. For the Recreation Department, I want to first and foremost mention that Evening Community Center Manager Lynn Havelka noted that I had tabbed, this report and said, oh my gosh, he's got tabs. Don't ask, how many questions are you going to ask? Well, I'm not going to ask any, Lynn. How about that? I do want to mention a couple of aspects of the report. The 2017 Specialized Marketing Bullet Points. Margie, is that your gig? Okay, good job. I especially like the notation of the partnerships, because there were a lot of them, on that same page. I did want to say that it looks like our revenues and expenditures, overall are holding, relatively, comparatively from 16 to 17. Would I be accurate, Mike? Cool. That's a good one. I got a couple more. I want to make sure that, the public knows, how much hard work, that our rec department does, and obviously none of our staff get, the recognition that they deserve. But, we had a page on the trends and the challenges and looking forward. I think that's all, important information for all of this area. The challenges, they're significant. So hopefully we can pull them off. But I think they're going to, add to our program. But, it was, as Ray said, it was a great report. And it gives, at least it gives me a heck of a lot of insight into, all the work that goes on. So thanks for doing it.
Terry, John?
Yeah, the only comment I had is, there is expenses are greater than revenues in this area, and a big part of that is attributed to the cost of running the community center, where we have a lot of hours, a lot of staff, and it really doesn't bring in its own special money. But there are a couple smaller units that are operating at a six-figure deficit. And, you know, we spent some time the past few years. When I first got on the board, Cosley Zoo operated at a six-figure deficit. And when you asked the question, everybody said, well, that's just how it is. And, you know, that's been turned around to where that operates at a six-figure, you know, plus. So, you know, I just suggest that, you know, now that Cosley's running good, if we wanted to focus our attention on a couple of these other areas and see if there's a way we could tighten them up, especially the two that are running at the six-figure deficit, it might be something worth looking into and seeing if there's a way we can close that a little bit, you know.
Yes, sir.
Jane?
Nothing. Thanks.
Kevin?
I would like to second what Ray said. This is very easy to read and a lot of information. Thank you for all your help, everyone. Just a tremendous program. My only comment would be that, or my second comment, is that in showing the year-to-year differences, if maybe you can go 3 years back at least, just so we can see a trend, 3 to 5 maybe would be great. So that's just a suggestion.
No problem.
Awesome. But great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any other comments for the good of the order?
Are we just in that area or just in general?
Terry, whatever you want.
Good, thank you. Mike, the variance report, were you going to discuss that at all, or
Which,
the 6 month?
no, that was requested by the board. I believe it was in 2016 we started that process, or was it 17?
Last
Yeah,
year.
just a general
So,
comment.
Yeah, it's there for your information, and then it shows you year over year changes in how we operate across the entire park system, and it's intended, if there's a dialogue that needs to be started, that it gets started through that document.
Yep, and I appreciate that. My only comment is that, you know, it's really helpful information. I presume that that's something that's available to the public, you know, via our website, because I think that gives.
It's not on there now, it will probably be on our transparency portal at some point in the near
Good.
future.
You know, there's a lot of good information for the public, you know, that is interested in, you know, how we derive our funds and what do we do with property taxes versus the rest. I do want to recognize, though, that, you know, some events in the month of August. We had a very successful Wheaton Brew Fest. Thanks, staff. Good work. And we apparently exceeded what we did last year, right? So it's still holding its own, so it's still worthwhile, huh? Yes. Good. I did see our Cosley Classic numbers were down slightly. I saw one report that showed 162 golfers registered, and then two reports that said 172. Which was it, Margie?
We had 172 registered, but I believe we had 168 that actually played.
Okay.
So I think that was the difference. We were down golfers, but actually revenue-wise, I think we were up a few thousand.
I was going to ask you that. So we netted better than we did last year? Okay,
Made it
that's-
up in sponsorships.
That's good news. And I do want to recognize the creativity of staff in, you know, streaming the first two Bears regular season games outside on the patio, you know, at Arrowhead, provided that the weather is, you know, reasonable. And then I guess we're going to find out, you know, how badly they get their cans whipped, right? But I think it's a good thing. So I hope the weather cooperates. So good idea. Whosever idea it was, congrats. That's all I had.
Anybody else, any other further comments? I just like to point out two things that are coming up. Shakespeare in the Park, Labor Day weekend, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, is that right?
Yes.
And then, do we have Sunday as a rain day for one day, or it's just 3 nights? And, all right. It's always a great event. Park gets full of people, and a great partnership with Wheaton College. And then the other thing is that we're doing the first annual DuPage Historical Museum Oktoberfest. Will be, is that first Saturday in October, I think?
Second Saturday in October.
Second Saturday in October. At Memorial Park, right, starting at 4 o'clock, right? So that's the first-time event where we're trying to drum up some interest and some support and some revenue in support of the mission over at the museum, so support of those things. Does anybody have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Jane?
Second.
Fahey. So a motion by Hodgkinson, second by Fahey. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm going to leave here so the city can.